Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of Undigested Material. I'm your host, Ummer, and today we're at the Three Bridges Oak Preserve in Atascadero, California. And it is a gorgeous day, so come take a walk with me and let's talk about why the hell we're eating this way. Here we are at the top of the trail. I tried to do some talking on the way up, but hiking uphill and talking wasn't the easiest, so I'm going to talk on the way down. So I was thinking a lot this past couple weeks after the first episode about the voice and the direction of the show and the channel, at least for now. And what it boils down to for me is that I feel like we've completely lost our minds when it comes to food and eating. And we're losing and at risk of completely losing our relationship and connection, spiritual connection to food and what we eat, how we eat, and beyond food too, what we consume. And I think we need to stop pretending that we can carry on the way we have been. Because in order to change any habit or addiction, you first need to stop pretending. There needs to be some level of awareness of what's going on. I was listening to a podcast the other day with Jimmy Carr on it, famous British comedian. And he said something along the lines of, right now we need to stop thinking and worrying about what's right or what's correct and start thinking and worrying more about what's useful. And on the same line, what's not useful, I would say. So there's a few things that I think that aren't useful right now, that aren't useful anymore. One of them is, the sheer abundance and availability of everything, especially if you live in an urban city area. You can get anything you want anytime you want it. This abundance, this availability is degrading our relationship to what we consume. You've heard the term like throwaway culture. We're starting to treat all of our things as disposable, as not long term, as something that doesn't need to be paid attention to, taken care of. And I think that's a shit mentality. If we treat everything as, the opposite of sacred, as the opposite of special, we lose sight of what really matters, among other things. Another one is restaurants and eating out. I've worked in the food, beverage, hospitality industry for the better part of the last 20 years. Restaurants and catering, resorts. And man, is it a messed up industry. And yeah, during the pandemic really wreaked havoc on it. And there was all this virtue signaling about making it a better place, better environment, a healthier environment for people to work in. More equitable, more equal pay for everybody. And that sounded great and all, but in actuality, I think it's even worse off now than it was before. And we go out and there's this obsession with consuming, this hedonistic desire to consume, and social media plays a big role in that, I think. I would say I know. We see people having all these experiences, eating out, eating this nice looking food, and we want that. And I don't know if there must be some statistics these days about how much more people are eating out now than they used to. I mean, I was just in San Francisco, and any day of the week you walk down the street and restaurants are full, outdoor patios or outdoor park beds are full of people eating. And it's not good to eat out like that all the time. It's not good to eat out all the time. A dish prepared in a restaurant is never going to be as healthy as the same dish prepared at home, prepared by you. And that's part of the relationship to food. That experience of shopping for the ingredients, prepping, cooking, feeling the food, smelling the food, seeing the food. And digestion starts with the senses. We don't just start digesting when food enters our mouth. We start digesting when food is presented to our other senses, when we smell it, when we see it, when we touch it. It triggers the brain to tell the mouth to start salivating, which the saliva in the mouth contains digestive enzymes. So we're getting that salivation going so that there's enough in the mouth to start breaking down the food with the enzymes in the saliva. And so when you take a lot of that out of the picture, the natural deduction would be that your digestion is going to suffer a little bit, and I think it does. Another one that's not useful, never was useful, is all these fad diets. When I was growing up, it was the low fat, low carb, Atkins diet, all the variations of that. I mean, there was one time when I was probably around 10 years old, somewhere in that age range. My mom came home from the grocery store with some non-fat or low-fat pudding, that she bought by mistake, thinking it was the full fat. Thankfully, my parents weren't. They were more aboard the healthy fat train when we were growing up. But man, did I let her know how disappointed in her I was. Sorry about that, Mom. I was a bratty little kid. But yeah, now you have paleo and keto and vegan. Yes, I'm putting vegan in the fad diet category because I think it is. Diets can never target everyone. Definitely not everyone, and definitely not even a large swath of the population. Everybody, we all have our unique constitutions. We all have our unique makeups and digestive abilities, and that changes throughout life, and that changes through seasons, and with how we're taking care of ourselves, how healthy we are. It's a moving target, and the best, no diet's gonna move with that target. None of these fad diets are gonna move with that target. You talk to a lot of people that tried to be vegan for a certain period of time, and then became unhealthy and sick and went to the doctor and like, yeah, you're deficient in X, Y, and Z. You need to start eating some meat again. And I think the one that's come out, it's not a diet, I would say. A part of it maybe is, but the one that's come out recently is the the whole thing about the blue zones. And I think there are aspects of that are good takeaways. There's one, the 80% rule. I would say more lower, on the lower side, like 70%, 80%, but only eating until you're about 80% full. And that's important on a digestive level, because if there's no room in your stomach to churn the food in the digestive process, there's no room for it to mechanically break down, there's going to be undigested material. And some other ones from the blue zone. I mean, people in the blue zones live in areas that are close to where the food they're eating is grown, sourced locally. But yeah, so fad diets, they just enough already. Stop. We need to stop promoting this nonsense. I'm a believer that life is meant to be enjoyed. Food is meant to be enjoyed. Eating should be an enjoyable experience. But overindulgence is never a good thing. More is never the right answer. You think more of a good thing is always better, but it's not the case. And people say these days, well, if it makes them happy, it doesn't bother. It doesn't only affects them. Like, what does it matter to you? Why does it bother you? Or I've been eating and doing X, Y, and Z for the better part of my adult life, and I haven't noticed any problems yet. I'm happy and healthy ish. And to that, I would say, go walk around Costco for an hour. Any Costco. Especially for people that are on the younger side. Go walk around Costco and really people watch. Notice all the people in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are overweight, having trouble walking properly. And ask yourself if that's what you want your future to look like. I don't. I mean, that's going to Costco is always a very sad and frustrating experience for me. Seeing the side of humanity. And so I think that's That's a big part of the reason why I'm doing this show. Not Costco, but because it makes me sad. It makes me very sad. Seeing this going on, seeing this dissolving of our relationship to real food. And so if you don't want to end up like that, like the people you see at Costco, or if you are one of those people that we see at Costco and you want to change and maybe turn things around, reverse some of the damage you've done, then you got to start somewhere. And therapists, psychologists would say, start small, pick something small, pick one thing in your life that you feel confident you could change, or at least, keep trying to change. And that's exactly it. Keep trying. So pick one thing, put all your energy as much as you can into changing that thing that you know is going to make you a healthier person, and you know is going to be an investment in a healthier future. And do it until you feel comfortable, until it's a habit. And then pick another and keep going from there. Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. There's no end to that. Sky's the limit. Anything's possible when you carry on in that way. I'm getting near to the bottom of the trail now, so I'll end today's walk with a story I really like that I find applies to this and many other aspects of our lives. And that's the Cherokee story about the two wolves, which, if you haven't heard it before or need a refresher, there's a grandfather sitting with his grandchild and telling him about how within each and every one of us there are two wolves that are constantly fighting. And one of those wolves represents everything that is good in our lives, in the world, everything that is virtuous and noble and righteous. And the other wolf represents everything that is bad, everything that's destructive. And the grandkid thinks for a little bit and thoughtfully asks the grandfather, "So which wolf wins?" And the grandfather's response is, "The wolf you feed." So always check in with yourself. Make sure you're feeding the right wolf. Somebody very close to me said recently, if you're not paying attention, you're not going to know what's coming at you down the pike. It refers to turnpikes, highways. Be aware. Start with awareness. Check in with yourself. Which wolf is winning? And if it isn't the good and productive wolf, then start changing that. All right, it's been a real hoot. Nice little trail here. One of my favorites in the area. It's actually technically closed right now, so good for recording because there's fewer people at the moment, and I don't like to record when there's a lot of people around, disturb people's enjoyment of nature. So until next time, Om Namah Shivaya. That means I bow down to Shiva in you, the God in you, in us all. And be well. Good luck.